Wow, we're almost done with this, aren't we? Really? All right, let's see. So we will Wednesday certainly have a test. You have all weekend. I will be posting the review onto your website today to make sure that you have it because we'll review again on Tuesday. So that way, remember, if you do poorly, we're not going to waste that day. We're just going to keep going. We'll treat it like it was a college course. All right? This is certainly one of the listing questions. Will be the areas that you need in a facility or your wish list of areas in your facility. What? Right there. They're all in order just like they are. I've added one slide that you all don't have that I told you that I'll show you about. And that was when we were talking about budgets, about being wise with your money. There's two types. There will be examples of a modality or an item within your test, and you'll need to tell me whether they are expendable or non-expendable. And you also need to know if they're fixed or non-fixed supplies. All right. So we talked about the budget. You want to bid out with reputable companies. Now, when I say bid out, remember we talked about let's go bid for a car. Okay. All right. Now you need to do it with reputable companies because there was this one company, and this is what they would do. They bid out. I wanted a machine that was a portable stem machine. Worked on little C cell batteries, but we used it even when we were at home, not just on the road. And so I knew I could get it from company A, and I don't go and send a bid sheet specifically for this company, and this. They all get the same thing. Well, company B, what they did is they bid on it like $100 less than company A. Come to find out, company B couldn't even get the item. So they screwed up on something else, and I stuck it to them. Um, and then that was the last time that I told them, all right, this is a bid sheet, okay? I should have tried to make it look a little better. All right. See the maroon lines that go across? That separates each item, okay? So we send this out, and now we do it with emails, but we would send it out in a package, and in the package there'd be a letter with instructions that said it had to have FOB, freight on board, meaning that when you bid your items, that includes you paying for shipping. I don't want to pay an extra bill for shipping. Right? So this is the latest one we did. We were looking to get those cabinets for in here and then also in the trailer. So it says item number one, coverlet cabinet, brand coverlet. And then we do have a description. Filled 18 drawer countertop unit. Substitutions. So are substitutions allowed? This says no substitutions, no exceptions. How many do we want? Quantity. It says it wants two cabinets. Okay? They fill in the unit cost and the total cost. I don't care if they fill in the total cost. I just need to know the unit cost. Now, all of this stuff works on our little computer program with that Microsoft Access. And so we can pull that out into Excel. Once we get their numbers, we just go in Excel and put their numbers in for that company. Now, then we break it down, look at them across, and we highlight which one wins each bid. Then we put next to them which company won the bid, and so then we can sort it out, and then boom, we know how much we're going to spend. By doing that, we probably are able to buy with a $13,000 budget. We can stretch that. If we only bought from one person and one person only, um, we would probably lose somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500 to $2,000, and that's quite a bit because that's a lot of items over and over and over. If I lose $1,000, I'm not doing very good for our people. And it's your tax money. You want me to take care of it, I would hope, right? So buy one item, emergency item from a single supplier? Yes, there's not a problem with that. All right. Worry about your office costs. Your professional dues, CEUs. What's CEUs? That was chapter 1. We hadn't had that test, so it's going to be on there. What's CEU? Continued Education Unit. Right. So your CEU cost. Remember, we have to go to back to school and go to classes and so forth to keep our license. All right. We've done all this. Injury reports. Communication is the key. You can't have a satisfactory You can't have satisfactory communication with your coaches. Now think of this. All right. So here is the head coach. He's the head football coach, right? He's got his quarterback is a running quarterback. His second team quarterback is a throwing quarterback. Well, if the first guy gets hurt, he needs to know because he needs to change his game plan from having a running game plan into a throwing game plan. So it's important that they know. So Bates does a great job of keeping them fellas over there informed. There's a treatment log. We do ours online. Of course, you gotta have permission in order to see it. So you guys don't have it. But now the coaches know whenever somebody comes in, we just put their name in, and it automatically logs what time. All right, so they know who's been coming through and who hasn't been coming through. But at the same time, their duty is always they always still get the injury report because that extra step. All right, your personal information card. So, have you guys seen our gorgeous physical forms? All right, here's our great little gorgeous little physical form. Do you think that they are haphazardly? You all know that word, right? Do you think that they are haphazardly put together in a certain order? Or you do? What's haphazardly? Huh? Not on purpose. Just randomly. So do you think that this form is put together this way with a purpose in mind or just to get it at all that stuff on the paper? There is a purpose. There's always got to be a purpose behind your madness. Okay? All right. So the purpose of this is, hey, it's got a perforation. It tears off. We need that because this sheet right here has all the information that we love. This sheet over here has all the information that parents don't read, but they need to sign it that gives permission throughout that they've read all this stuff. Okay? But this is the one that we and athletic are really concerned about. Okay? Have you all ever read this? Some of you have actually had physicals, right? Have you read all this? Every word? Every word. Did you know that in there it says that upon graduation that each of you owe me $1,000 for each year that you sign it, and you're going to sign 4 of them. You say no, I say yes, I wrote it, you haven't read it. So which one do you think it's? Yeah, it's in there. Huh? I'm not going to show it to you. You need to read it. Yeah, that gives that. There's your permission to do drug testing in here. Did you know that? You sure? All right. So on this front page, here's important, all important, student ID number. Okay? Because there are some people who have the same name here in school that do play athletics. One might be a sophomore and the other's a junior. That's the only difference. So you need a student ID number. Okay? You need to have parents' name and phone numbers and emails anymore. And you also need their emergency contact because sometimes parents work. And when they're working, they might not be able to pick up the phone. And so they see me call. They go, we don't know his cell phone number. What is that? They see her cell phone number because for some reason she decided to keep a Missouri number. Matter of fact, we had a parent tell me just the other day that he didn't answer because it was a Missouri number. So we also have a little deal on here. We ask them to check mark if they don't have insurance or if they're on Medicaid. And I do that just for demographics because I'd like to know have an idea of how many kids that we have in the school that either don't have insurance or don't have Medicaid. If we find out that that changes, if let's say it's 30%, let's say it drops down to maybe 10% or less, well, then maybe we don't have to spend $36,000 on the accident insurance policy because 95% of the kids have insurance. But nobody knows why that's on there until I just told you. All right. Now, here's the other part of it. The next one down here says we can give you medication, over the counter medication. All right. So the over the counter medication is just going to be Pepto Bismol, some Advil, the Tylenol, things that you would probably find in your purse, anyways. All right. But Mama's got to sign it, or Papa. This is the biggie down here. I don't have my glasses. It allows us to share your personal information with this signature allows us to share your personal information. All right, you got glasses? You need glasses? You do. You don't? Right, that one right there. If they're only right there. Yeah, yeah, a whole bunch more. So all that jibber jabber you heard? Did you hear the jibber jabber she was saying? It says that if you get hurt, I have permission to take you to go get you taken care of. Right? So that's not a bad thing. Well, let me tell you this. Technically, the law in Texas says that if you get hurt, I can take you and they can treat you. Realistically, hospitals want to make sure they get paid. So they either want the signature, all right, or they want a parent or guardian there. So they have a guarantee that someone's going to pay for this. All right. So many years ago, one of the assistants that was working with me, she said, I want to do more. I said, okay, you're in charge of, we didn't have it on this, we had it on a little card. I said, you're in charge of the emergency card. Make sure everybody's emergency card is signed, taken care of, and put in this folder. And so she did, allegedly, except for one. It was there, but it wasn't signed. His brother, it was signed, but his, it wasn't signed. They brothers, they're playing on the same football team. And so we're playing on a Saturday afternoon. We're about 120 miles away from home, and it's a playoff game. And our guy dislocates his ankle. His talus came completely out of his ankle. That's pretty painful. All right. So she grabs the emergency cards and she's looking at it, and then she looks at me and she goes, "It didn't sign." I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, go with him to the hospital and make sure he gets treatment." All right. I'm pretty clear to make sure that before she gets there, that it gets signed. Got it? She didn't. That kid sat for 2 hours with a dislocated ankle, and they wouldn't give him as much as even a Tylenol. All right. So these things are important. All right. So and now in today's world, you can make it even easier for a coach. You can make it to where they get it on their smartphone, as long as you password it if it is out in the real world. Yeah, it's one more step you have to learn. But as far as FERPA, the Federal Education something 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 Information Act, and then some people keep bringing up HIPAA, which is the Healthcare something Portability Act, where you can't talk about anybody's health care. So that doesn't pertain to us. The other one does. So we got to make sure that we protect that information. All right. So this gets scanned. All right. It's put on a drive. Coaches can get to it. They can print it off. Now they can take that little paper and go with it. They lose it. Uh-oh. They lose it. It's not lost. It's scanned, it's still in their folder. So these things are important as far as your physicals and so forth. What is up with that? No, I don't want to go that way. We'll go that way. All right, so that's your personal. It's got your emergency contact information. It's got your waiver, and you got to make sure you got your parent's signature on there. Okay. Now, SOAP notes. This is the end of yesterday. It was really fast. SOAP is subjective. You remember I said what subjective is? All the stuff they said. Because who is the absolute worst witness? The eyewitness. Eyewitnesses are terrible, and lawyers know that. They know they're going to get stuff wrong. Eyewitnesses, there's too much stuff to be pulled in. Victims are even worse witnesses. Okay? That's whoever was offended. So, whatever they say, you take it with a grain of salt and you write it down. Go look at the video if you can find the video. Okay? So, because everything's videoed, practice is videoed all the time, right? Me getting run over on the football field is videoed. Well, we'll pull it up here on the board. So, we take what she says, which is subjective. Okay? You probably need to get that out of your nose. It's against school policy. We'll have a talk in class. Objective. That is those things that are based on testing, based on touching, you can't refute it. So it's objective. Athlete had bone sticking out, or had a rock sticking out of her nose. Yeah, or her cheek. Yeah, maybe a cheek. So our assessment is then, what do we think we got going on here? This is our assessment. So we take what we have done as far as testing, what they have told us, and their history, getting their history. If they say they felt a pop, they probably felt a pop. Okay? But if they say I got bit by a spider, they probably get bit by a spider. You get bit by a spider. If you don't see the spider, you didn't get bit by a spider. Did you know that? Yeah. Look it up. Huh? What? Did you see it? Did you see the spider? Oh, yeah. So then we want to have the plan. This will look just like this. What? Fill in the blank. It's going to have SOAP. And instead of subjective, objective assessment and plan, they're going to be blanks there. So you need to know what they stand for. All right? Good. At the end of the year, here we go, new stuff. At the end of the year, you need to make a report with the numbers of treatments that you gave. You would be amazed at how many times an ice bag is made in here during the school year. Thousands. Yes. Imagine this. Imagine if you charge $7 an ice bag. That's I'm thinking $10 is what they're charging for cryotherapy at a physical therapy place. $7 an ice bag, and if we just did 1,000, which we do more than that, because each one of those boxes is 1,000 ice bags, and we're going through 3 of them a year or more. Yeah. So that could be some serious money. But now you go to your school administration, to your school board, and you say, look, we've done this many treatments, and we're going to put a value on each treatment that we did. We have saved our community over $250,000 worth of physical therapy bills by them coming and doing their rehab here. Not bad. So if I've saved our community $1 million every 4 years, maybe I should probably get a pay raise. You think? I would hope so. All right. So there are advantages for it can be an advantage for increasing your salary or your budget. So Put an amount on the treatment to show how much money you save the community. And don't just arbitrarily go and do it. Find out how much the physical therapists are actually charging. Here's the thing. We'll catch it. Several software packages are available to put on your computer to help with tracking your paperwork. 20 years ago, I decided to start trying to write one using Access. I still use it today because the stuff that they have now is still not as absolute specific as what I can make my own do. So, how much does that cost them to buy it? $1,000 a year. A year. So every decade, I save $10,000 because I'm so crazy enough to sit there and only want to use the Access because I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay $1,000. I pay $1,000. Your pink out shirts are gone. I'd rather do it for you and make your life easier than it is to try and make their life easier. So there's several packages. You don't have to absolutely have one. You can either create one. If you want to go really old school, go get a yellow pad and a pencil. Okay? I don't recommend that. Now, there's only two kinds of computer hard drives. Did you know that? Did you know there's only two kinds of hard drives? Those that will crash and those that have crashed. Hard drives crash no matter what. I got one at the house right now. It's clicking. And when they start to click, within the month, they're going to be ready to go. So I'm taking all the files I can and backing them up on multiple hard drives. So when that one that's clicking clicks out, right, I still got my stuff. So having a computer does not replace a hard copy. When she sends out an email or she gets an email, when I get an email or send an email about either kids to parents to coaches, we print it and stick it in their file because otherwise it gets erased. All right? It can making computers can make reports easier. They can make better looking bid sheets because our bid sheet is probably top notch compared to what some of these folks send out. I mean, there still are some that send it out on paper and pencil. And it's another skill. If you learn how to use computers and make them whistle Dixie and turn your coffee maker on, that's another skill you got. You might not end up being an athletic trainer, but if you've got a computer skills and you are, I might not stay here. I might be then next thing I know is I'm doing sales because I've got that skill. I might be working at the hospital because I have that skill. I might be a drug rep because of that skill. I don't think I'll be a drug rep. I'm too old for that. They only want pretty people. So these can be useful in tracking your injury status. Some of them, they do the injury tracking, and they'll ask the questions. Was it a home game? Was it an away game? Was it practice? Was it not? Were they wearing this kind of shoe, that kind of shoe, with this kind of shoe? You start breaking it down, you take data and you start to break it down, you might find a pattern. You find a pattern, you can then go to coach and say, look, on Wednesdays, we need to quit hitting because Wednesdays seems to be the day that we get hurt. It might just show up that way. It might be a certain shoe. All right? So, is there a pattern? The computer can help with that. It's tough finding patterns without having something that, is that all there was? So, it's tough finding patterns on your own, just saying, oh, I think it could be that way. All right, you ready for your test? We can give it to you right now. I've got them printed. No?